Are you having trouble saying no around the office? Our etiquette expert is coming up with some ways that you can do it the right way. Say no in the office, you know what I'm talking about. Our etiquette expert, Diane Gottsman, is here to give us the do's and don'ts about it. Always good to have you here on Good Day, Austin. Diane.
I love coming to be with you. Thank you. And saying no is so important because we don't do it very well, do we?
No, especially women. You know, somebody asks for something and it's hard to say no. We just say yes, and somehow or other we fit it in, but we're missing out on things that we need to do for ourselves. So where do we begin with saying no?
That's the first tip. You just gave it. You know, you said that it's hard for us to say no, especially for women. So when someone asks you a favor or to help with a project, don't immediately feel the pressure. You know, say, what I like to say is, you know, I need to look at my agenda. I want to make sure that my workload is going to be conducive to what you're asking me to do, because you don't want to overburden yourself, and you certainly want to give this other project the time and effort it requires. So that's the first tip. Just say, let me get back with you. I'll get back with you, and then give them a time frame by the end of the day, or I'll get back with you when I get back, you know, when I come back to the office.
Right, when I'm done looking at my schedule or checking the calendar, because a lot of times we don't know what we're getting ourselves into, going to what you were saying.
That's right. And you know, you may not be able to do the whole thing, but you can offer something. If possible, say, listen, I cannot take on another project, but I can give you Thursday afternoon, you know, from 3 to 4. If you want me to edit something, if you want me to review after you're finished, I'm happy to do something. So you don't have to do the whole thing, but you're offering something. Now, if it's your boss, that's a different story. You can say, well, let me just think about it.
You make time for your boss. Yes. That's rule number one in the workplace.
So you'll say to your boss, listen, what is priority for you? Because you've given me 3 things already, and I'm working on all 3, but I'm happy to take this on. I just would like to know what you would like for me to do first.
Well, that's a very diplomatic way of putting it. I like that a lot. Great advice. Now, you have here as a second bullet point, know when to reverse the course. What does that mean?
Well, that means if I say yes to you and I go full steam ahead, and all of a sudden I realize, whoa, this is overwhelming, it's way over my head, I have all of these other projects, rather than just tinkering around and not giving you what you need, I'm going to own it, and I'm going to say, you know what, I bit off too much. So I want to tell you now, so you can get the extra help you need, I am just not going to be able to give you the time that this requires.
Honesty is the best policy, right? Let's just be truthful. It says here, you mentioned offer something when possible, which is scheduling an hour perhaps on a Thursday or something. Pick a day out of the week.
And then be truthful about it. You know, if you can't do it, just tell the truth. It's just too much. Now, again, not your boss, but, you know, a coworker that really needs some help. If you can do it, of course, you want to try and do it. That's just a given. But if you know you cannot do it, it requires multiple weekends. It requires, evenings. You can say, I've got some commitments, and I can't swing it.
Well, it's starting to take time away from your own priorities and as you said, commitments, not to mention your family life if you have one.
That's right. That's why we have to establish boundaries. So we have to decide, when am I going to turn off that cell phone at night? When am I going to have lunch with my child at school? And if it's going to interfere with some of the things that we have already made a commitment, and again, it shouldn't interfere with our work in terms of our productivity, but this is extra. You know, so we have to, it's a balancing act, and we all do that. You know, we all have families, we all have multiple tasks at work, we have things that we have elderly family members sometimes. So it's about prioritizing and doing as much as we can.
Diane Gottsman, etiquette expert, as always, great advice. Good to have you here. When to say no at the office.